What is up, everybody? Jesse Walker here. Thanks again for stopping by my channel. Do me a favor, if you do like this video, please make sure you click the like button below, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that little notification bell. We have tons of content coming at you all the time. I want to make sure you don't miss any. Alright, so today I want to talk about a subject that's really near and dear to my heart. I mean, this is really a sort of what the F moment for me, and I'm sure I'm going to get some negative comments about this. I'm sure some people don't agree with me on what I'm going to say here, but in my mind, this is really important. This really needs to be said. Now, you guys know with my platform, what I really believe in is I believe in lifelong health and fitness. And I believe in lifelong health and fitness, not just for ourselves or so we can look good or so we can look into the beach so we have six-pack abs and all those good things. I mean, looking great is awesome, but that's not the only thing. And for me and for a lot of people, that isn't necessarily a big enough why to really get you to consistently exercise and eat properly on a day-by-day basis. So for me, one of the most important reasons why I want to have health and longevity is because I really care about the people that I love and that love me and depend on me. In my mind, it is my obligation to do whatever I possibly can to make sure I remain healthy for as long as possible for them. This brings me to really what my F is for the day. And don't ask me how I ended up watching this show. I was just clicking through the channels, and there's a show called The Rap Game, okay? And The Rap Game, if you guys haven't seen it, it's just a show about some teenagers that have the opportunity to perform some hip-hop and sign with a record label, all right? Which is awesome. It's kind of like American Idol for teenage rappers, right? So it's really cool. There's a young lady on this show. She's 16 years old. She's a talented hip-hop artist, and she has some very supportive parents, and that's great. The challenge she has is, you know, like on a lot of these shows, you're always seeing the person, they talk about the difficulties they're trying to overcome or where they came from or the things that have held them down and so forth. That's a sort of part of the deal, so you get to know the person. Well, she spends a tremendous amount of time upset because her parents are always so sick. And her parents, you kind of know where I'm going with this, her parents are both obese, okay? And she's tearing up and crying and saying, you know, my father, he's got so much stress that he's gone through several TIAs. And the TIA, it's a type of stroke. It's like a mini stroke. And her father has had multiple of these TIAs. But in her mind, the reason that he's had all these TIAs is specifically because of stress. Not for any other reason. It's not that I don't feel for her father, because obviously being ill is no laughing matter, period, end of story. But for anyone to believe that the sole cause of those TIAs is only stress, that's a stretch. All right, so in reality, if he was stressed out, that's one thing, and that's another health issue we have to deal with. But if part of the reason for the TIAs is because he happens to be obese too, that is something that he can take care of on his own. Because again, when you see her parents, you know they care about her, you know they support her, you know they love their daughter, you know they will do anything for her. As a matter of fact, there's a scene where her mother's like, I will do anything to spend all my time with my daughter to make sure she has everything she wants, everything that's going to make her happy. So we know that the parents want to do that, but what they don't do is they don't take care of their own health. Now, I don't know what he's done since the TIA episodes. Maybe he's changed his maybe he's changed his habits. Maybe he's changed the way he eats. Maybe he exercises. I do not know. Now move on to her mother, and her mother's very obese as well. And her mother actually had a seizure while filming the show. And so the girl's very upset, you know, rightly so, crying about this because her mother had a seizure right in front of her. That's gonna freak out anybody, especially a 16-year-old girl that cares about her mother. Turns out her mother now has brain cancer. Who knows why she has brain cancer or what happened? It could have just happened. Maybe her dietary habits have absolutely nothing to do with it. It's completely possible. But we do know that how you treat yourself, what you consume, what you don't consume, whether or not you exercise, this will either raise or lessen the chances of you getting cancer and then, of course, subsequently beating that cancer. Okay? So, again, we don't know if her mother had been really healthy, if she still would have gotten brain cancer. We have absolutely no idea. All I'm saying is that we do know that her mother is not doing everything she possibly can to be healthy for her daughter. Because as heavy as her mother is, If it wasn't this, I'm sure there are other health issues that are going to come right along. This is something that she's going to want to address in order to be there for her daughter for as long as possible. These are really the sort of things that I think a lot of people don't think about when they think about, I want to make sure I'm doing as much as possible for my kids. I'm sure we all know people that lost their parents when they were very young. Maybe they lost their parents when they were a child. Maybe they lost their parents in their 20s. How many of those people would love for their parents to still be around just to hug them and say, I love you? Now, how many of those kids lost their parents for something that the parent could have prevented themselves if they would have treated themselves better? That's really what the question is. When you're watching this or listening to this, you may be one of a couple of types of people. You may be the sort of person that looks at this and says, well, yeah, we definitely need to do as much as we possibly can because we want to be there for the people that love and need us. But then there's the other camp that says, yeah, but you know what? We have no control as to whether or not we're going to get cancer. I could walk out and have a heart attack tomorrow even though I exercise. Look at Andy Whitfield, for instance. If you guys don't know who he is, he was the guy that played in Spartacus during the first season. And obviously when you look at the guy, he looks super healthy. But he ended up dying of Hodgkin's disease, okay? And he was like 38 or 39 years old. So what that does say is, yes, you can be a healthy person and things can happen. But in reality, all we're doing is we're trying to increase the odds that we are going to be here for the people we love. For instance, when you take a drive in your car and you put on the seatbelt, do you realize that if you get in a wreck, you can still die? Of course you can. Absolutely. All you're doing is increasing the odds that if you do happen to get in a wreck, you won't die. If you have a child, if you have a baby, when you leave the hospital with the baby, do you just throw the baby in the passenger seat and just drive home? The baby could survive. More than likely, you're not going to get in a wreck. More than likely, the child is going to be absolutely fine when you get home. There's really no problem. But you're not stupid enough to do that. Of course you want to increase the odds that when you get home, that baby's going to be absolutely fine. And even if you put that baby in a child seat, buckle it up, make it all snuggly and that whole deal, something can still happen and that child could die. So when people say these things like, well, you really have no control, that's true. To a large degree, you don't have control. Some things can happen anyway. All you can do is decrease the chances of those negative things happening. So back to this girl. When I see her and she's crying, my father's having these TIAs because he's stressed out. My mother, I'm just so happy she can still be here with me. I really need her. I'm so happy that she's here. What's going to happen when she isn't? And hopefully, I pray that this woman can turn her health conditions around. I truly do. I truly hope that she can do this. But this is not a unique case. This happens every single day in this country, especially as the obesity epidemic goes wildly out of control. How many children are going to be losing parents earlier than they need to lose those parents? And then here's the other part of it. Now this girl, she's 16. She's already getting pretty heavy because clearly this is an habitual way that this family eats. What's going to happen when she's 16 now. What's going to happen when this girl is 25, when she's 30? Is she going to be 100 pounds heavier than she is? What sort of health issues is she being set up for? Because this is the message that her parents are giving her. This is what is okay. Ultimately, as a parent, if you are a parent out there, I believe it is your obligation to do whatever you can to be there for your children. And also teach your children from an early age how to be healthy themselves so that they can live the best quality lives that they can. And so that when they have children, they're there for their children for as long as possible as well. Wouldn't that be great? Okay. All right, well, that is my what the F for the day. Let's take care of the people we love. Thanks a lot for listening or watching or whatever you do. Thank you.